Flyers lose this one 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the first time this season, back-to-back regulation losses. Welcome into Postgame Live, presented by Curado Insurance. Al Morgani, Scott Hartnell, Ashlyn Sullivan here with you. You're left at this point, both losses to the Tampa Bay Lightning, with the question, are the Flyers on a slump? Are things going down? Or are the Tampa Bay Lightning just that good? And I think both can be true, Scott.
Yeah, mutually exclusive they are, and it just really shows you kind of where the Tampa Bay Lightning have been in the last 5-6 years. A bunch of the same guys on their team that signed up long term, and just how they came in here and just dominated 5-on-5 to start both games, get a goal in the first just over a minute on both of them. In periods, getting goals there, shutting both goalies played really well for them. And a very frustrating couple games for the Flyers.
Yeah, it's the team here and the organization. I mean, Tampa had to deal with a couple of big injuries, but they've got people coming in. They don't seem to be missing a beat, 10 in a row like that. As you mentioned, the goaltending. And the Flyers miss a couple of people, Brink, Drysdale, TK the last game, and having a hard time to try to make up for it. I mean, that's where each team is. And obviously, Tampa, they'll get a sniff at a cup again playing like this. And the old song that we have, power play. I mean, when they needed it, they got it. Yeah,
the reason Tampa will sniff the cup is because when they get the power play chances, they capitalize. And the Flyers, once again, the power play chances, nothing to show for it. And it leads us to our game changer, brought to you by Sloan Automotive. Brandon Hagel, his goal, 4-1. This was really the turning point to me, Scott, where you looked and said it's going to be hard for the Flyers to make this a game after this.
Yeah, no doubt, a backbreaker, right? And power play goal, you're just trying to kill it. They weren't cheating going the other way, and kind of a shot from somewhat distance. Not sure if it touched Sanheim or not. I know he was screened. Ladar was screened by Sandy, kind of shooting it right through him, right there, right through the legs, actually, at the top shelf.
Yeah, and Hagel's a guy, usually it's a 5-on-5 guy. Amazingly, doesn't score that many on the power play. Goals, does set him up. And there's that shot that goes right through. And, it's just a huge difference. It just turns what could be a close game. The Flyers tried physically to come back in it, but Tampa just, at some point, just says enough. We're just better.
And that Brandon Hagel, he's just he's not a big guy, but he just works so hard. He's kind of one of those annoying guys. Just plays so hard, goes to the dirty areas, makes solid plays all the time. Playing with good players, he gets a lot of points, and one of the big catalysts for the Lightning.
Yes, a 5-1 loss here for the Flyers to the Tampa Bay Lightning, as it's time now to check in with Brian Boucher for the Toyota Corolla. He is not there yet. How about this power play? Let's look at it some more, shall we?
Yeah, there was one clip, I don't know if it was the first or second power play the Flyers had, and it was 16 seconds, right? They win the draw. Oh, we're going to take a look at it. Perfect. Nice work, Joe Fordyce in the back, and they win the draw, right? It's total control. And they end up just giving the puck here to the Tampa Bay Lightning right there. Off a skate, out in the zone, and then it even gets worse out.
Yeah, when you end up doing things like this, I mean, time comes off, and they get the advantage there, and you just run out of energy on that. Instead of being something that gives you momentum, you see the frustration on that.
Yeah, the body language right there says it all, right? Putting himself offside on a play where he should chip it in, get on it, get set up. It's not working right now. They're not jiving. These last few games, and you could really tell kind of just what TK's face there. He got kicked out of the game with 9 minutes to go in the game. Frustration is just boiling over.
Yes, and with Travis Kennedy getting kicked out of that game, at least it's good that we know the injury is not going to make it any worse. With getting some extra rest in this game, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating playing these games, right? It's a 4-1 game at that time, 5-1 empty netter. It's really tough to play those games when you're that out of it.
Yes, and the Flyers losing 5-1, like we mentioned, as it's time now for the Toyota Corolla crossover. Checking in with Brian Boucher. And Bouch, we talked about this at the top of the show. Tampa Bay Lightning, 10 wins in a row. The Flyers, the losing streak now to 3 games. Is it the Flyers really slumping? Is it the Lightning that good? What do you think it is?
I think it's a combination of both. No doubt the Lightning are really rolling right now and playing really well, led by Nikita Kucherov, who just continues his stellar play. But I think, the Flyers early on, they fall behind in both games, and then you're chasing it against a very good team, which makes it awfully difficult and hard to really gauge, what the Flyers really would have been able to do in this game if they perhaps play with the lead and get and get Tampa Bay on their heels. They just were never able to do it. And as Al mentioned, the penalty kill, unfortunately, tonight didn't get a job done, and it ended up being a big portion in this game. And we saw a couple games ago the power play let them down, and this one is the penalty kill that I think didn't come up with a couple of big kills, and it just kept the Lightning going. So I think it's a little bit of both. But you got to give credit to this Lightning team. I mean, they're a team that's playing really well right now. They're well coached. John Cooper picks up his 600th career win. They're a very professional team with the way that they go about it. Their players know exactly what their roles are. They do them to a T, regardless of who's in or who's out of the lineup. They find a way to give their team a good chance to win.
So, sorry, I'm going to go first there, Al. Sorry. Boosh, a broken record here with the power play. You kind of touched on it there as well. It's frustrating for me. I don't know how you see it, but you see it's a team like Tampa Bay. They got a Kucherov, they got Hagel, they got Point. It just seems like the Flyers can't get any momentum. They can't get the zone time. They can't get the shots where these other teams come in here and just kind of just wheel it around and shooting, getting recovering pucks, all that kind of stuff. And is it as frustrating for you as it is for me watching?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, these guys that are such high-end players, like, your Kucherovs and Points and the way that they operate on the power play, it's with such confidence, such ease, such poise. But they, as you mentioned, they retrieve pucks. They have that tenacity that's needed in order to win those battles, in order to get the puck back and get it in their best hands players. It's that's what you would strive to be. But for the Flyers, I wonder how much of this is starting to get inside their heads. I know as a goal, I can only speak as being a goaltender. Like when things don't go your way, you start to press, you start to think about it too much, and maybe you beat yourself sometimes. I wonder if some of these guys on the power play, they're starting to feel that way. I mean, you could speak more to that. Like when you don't score as much as you want to, you only get 2 opportunities a game, and you don't really generate much. Like the frustration that takes over, and perhaps you start to do some things that are uncharacteristic. I know the penalties. I mean, the faceoffs have been an issue on the power play, not winning faceoffs in order to gain possession right away. And tonight it was entries. Like it felt like the entries were not very good either. So I feel like these guys just need to take a deep breath, just simplify. I personally would like to. I know this is not going to be a popular sentiment, but I just I would rather have Ristolainen up there on the top unit and just feed him for one-timers hammering the puck, just until they can get things settled in, and then start retrieving pucks from there. I just feel like nobody really wants to shoot it right now, and it's becoming an issue. But I don't know. I never played on the power play. You probably could speak more to that, Hartsey.
Yeah, no, you need the big shot coming from, from the top guy on the D-man. You need guys in front. You need layers, and then you got to recover those pucks, which is absolutely huge. And it just doesn't seem like they want that. You got to outwork the other team's penalty kill as well, too. It just seems like, they're just a little hesitant, like you said, and they're just kind of getting outworked to pucks, and then it's going down 200, and that's the deflating part of the power play for me. And
yeah.
If I remember Kivo Tiemann, many times be like, "Come on, Hartsey, wake it up," that after that first screw up on the wall or whatever, and it kind of, it wakes you up a little bit, right? I don't really see that when things aren't going well. Everyone just kind of lets it go. So a little bit more emotion, I think, would do the team a lot of good.
That is the hope for this Flyers power play to turn around at some point this season. Boosh, thank you so much. A couple national games, so we will talk to you on Saturday.
All right, guys, thanks.
You got it. Now time for our electrifying moment, brought to you by our local Tri-State Toyota dealers. The Flyers doing anything they can to get back in this game, so why not throw a couple of punches? Why not have a couple of fights to try to get back in it? Scott and I were down there ice level, and it was exciting. It got you in the game a little bit.
Yeah, Obels was kind of maybe a hit from behind. You got a boarding penalty, and then now the gloves come off, and you don't really see too many fights where there's 2 at one time, right? Grabankin, got booted for this one, but I just love the intensity. And Ashton, we were down there ringside, and it was pretty electric here for those couple minutes. And Grabankin did a pretty good job for one of his first fights.
Grabankin's been waiting to come off the top rope since the beginning of the season. I mean, he just couldn't wait here to go in. And I like the fact it's the whole line, and oftentimes it is that line, a fourth line, that's going to, okay, we need a jolt here. Because don't forget, they're playing without a couple of players. I know Tampa's playing without real elite players, but for the Flyers to play without Drysdale, Brink, you're going to have to drag your people into the game, and they tried to drag them back into the game. At least it shows you there's no surrender here at any point in the game.
Yeah, and I would love to see that intensity in that first period. Not necessarily having two guys fighting at the same stoppage. One guy gets booted, but you got to have that emotions. You got to wear that's Garnet Hathaway, for example. Last couple of games, especially on Saturday night, he was stellar for getting bodies, hitting, mixed it up after the whistles. That kind of stuff kind of brings everyone into the fight. TK, he's kind of been a little bit silent for me here lately. So. The team needs these guys to step up. Like you said, injuries are kind of coming in waves here right now for the Flyers, and you need everyone to pull the rope.
Yeah, need to get healthy and need a faster start from this Flyers team as they fall 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's now go to the Flyers locker room to hear from Sean Couturier.
What do you take away from these two games here?
Yeah, two tough games for us. They were two good challenges. Obviously, I think we have a lot of work to do to get to that level. They're a pretty experienced team that plays the right way and sticks to their game plan. So something we can learn. I still believe in this group that we can get there. Just got to put in the work and get to that level.
What does the game management look for you guys on the bench when it's getting really heated and you're taking a lot of unfortunate penalties?
Yeah, we got to be, I think, disciplined as a team always, especially against a team like that. But yeah, special teams I think need to be better as well. So yeah, I think we have a lot of things to work on. But like I said, we'll get there.
Sean, you're pretty confident you guys will be able to reset after these two and get ready for this back-to-back coming on?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see why not. All year we've done it, and we'll keep putting the work in and respond next game.
Sean, what is it that makes this Tampa team so difficult to play against?
Well, I think you can tell a lot of guys have they've played together for a long time. They know where they're at on the ice. They know when to chip pucks out, put the pucks deep, and when to actually make plays, force plays. Like I said, they're pretty sync. So it's a tough opponent to play against, but it's I still believe if we played better, we could have made it a tighter match.
What do you see on the penalty kill right now?
I don't know. It's hard to say right after a game like this, but obviously it's not good enough.
You hear Sean Couturier there. His first answer stood out to me that he feels like the Flyers have a long way to go to get to a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. At the start of the year, we know Danny Briere is trying to do just that, build a contender, not build a playoff berth, build a team like Tampa that is in the conversation to be in the playoffs every single year. And when you have two games like this, I do think it makes you realize, yeah, they're a couple steps away from that.
Yeah, and if you want to keep close, I mean, he mentioned the penalty kill. I mean, let's just take for granted the power play is not going to be good.
It's not?
Well, it hasn't been. I mean, historically, it's pretty good evidence here. But if that happens, if you're struggling, your penalty kill has to be good. Otherwise, the equation's way out of balance. You can kind of hang in. Tampa gets some penalty, you kill them off. Okay, then we're gonna hang in. But Scott, when both special teams can't get to 90%, that's trouble.
Yeah, no, it is tricky, and the goals are going in a lot of different ways, right? A screen shot by their own defender, Sanheim, a rebound off Vladar comes in, Breda Point scores, then he gets his knee blown out. And I don't know that for a fact, but it looked really, really bad. So other teams are kind of studying these guys. What's their weakness? How can we get it on the weak side? Get it down low, stuff it, all that kind of stuff. So for the Flyers, they just need to get back to basics, basically. You need to stay out of the box. You got to, outwork the other team's penalty kill on a power play, right? I don't really see that right now, and I think that's why they're not having any success, because they're not really outworking the team, and that's the number one rule for a good power play. It might not look like they're outworking it because they have the puck the whole time, but when the pucks go in the corners, you got to get them back. You got to retrieve those.
Time for our Granite Run Buick GMC play of the game. Christian Dvorak trying to do something here for the Flyers team and get them on the scoreboard, and he succeeded. succeeds, Al.
He does, and it's a little iffy at the beginning. It actually starts with the goaltender, with Vladar making a terrific save off of his shoulder. I don't even know if he knows he made this greatest save, but you see his head go the other way, and then you get on your horse and go down the other end of the ice.
Yeah, it's nice when that happens. You're crossing over, you're getting the speed, and I love that. It was Nick Seeler, guys. Let's be honest, driving the back door there. So do you really want to pass to him, Al? I'm just joking still. But look how he has his head up. He knows he's going to shoot this puck.
Yep.
He sees that vision. We're going to see a great angle here from behind Dvorak, and just rips that one short side post and in.
And Sealer is there just in case it hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts, whatever, be able to tap it right through him. So you go in, good on him. And that's a heck of a shot by Dvorak.
Absolutely.
Yes, Nick Seeler was there, ready for action as we go downstairs to hear from Rick Tocchet following this 5-1 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Rick, some of the guys talked about confidence that you guys will reset after these 2 games and take what you learned from Tampa Bay. What do you think you guys maybe learned in these 2 games against a team like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good hockey team over there. So, it's a measuring stick. And, you can't get frustrated. You just got to keep working. You got to do the proper things. We got to hold on to pucks. We need some guys. Let's face it, their best players are very good. They're on the score sheet. There's a level of we got to find some of our guys to get to, and that's what we're going to try to get to every day. So you play these type of games, and you realize, hey, I got to do those sort of things that they do. Their conversion rates outstanding, right? We get a couple of 2-on-1s, they get 2-on-1s, they convert. So we got to get to that level, and that's the only way you got to do is playing these type of games.
Sean Couturier said from a game management perspective, you guys needed to be more disciplined and the special teams needed to be better on a night where you faced a lot of unfortunate penalties. Was that your evaluation as well? Yeah.
I mean, the power play, obviously, we had a couple looks at Hagel's goal that they get the shot. We're not shooting those things. It's a CNI shot, but we don't. You're supposed to go sideways on a guy and block. We got to block that shot. Then our power, we're just. You can tell some guys are nervous out there. We just got to relax them. That's my job. We got to get these guys to relax a little bit.
Rick, by no means am I suggesting that he was at fault for these 2 losses, but it's a month and a half since Michkov scored a goal and a man net. What's your concern level about where he's at right now, halfway through the season?
Well, he's trying. I mean, I'd like to see him separate himself in the corners. Like he's easily checked, and I think I know there's some reasons because of it. We got to keep working with him, but we got to get him. He's got to get a little bit more separation, skating away from people. It looks like he just kind of stuck in mud sometimes, right? And we got to get him out of it. So there's some reasons for it, and we got to keep working with him.
The past week or so, a few of these games have gotten pretty chippy. How do you think that the team has just kept the right balance of smart hockey with that style of play? Yeah,
I mean, it's frustration. You're going to get that. We don't want to take stupid penalties and stuff like that. So we'll address that. But you're right. But there's still some stuff out there that I'd like them digging in and helping each other out. But you don't want to take stupid penalties. So you don't want to be in the box all night.